Good day. Welcome back to Blackie Speaks. I am your host, Zonwabele Blackie Chayana. As you guys know, I have been living with multiple chronic conditions, some for a very long time. And one of the things that I've learned is that living with chronic conditions can sometimes become cumbersome. It can become challenging. The journey was filled with a lot of ups and downs, and the journey had its own lessons. So, in this channel and in this video, I will be sharing some of the lessons that I've learned over the years. One thing I realized is that sharing our stories makes it a bit easier for us to live with the chronic conditions. It has also come to mind that we not only heal ourselves, but we heal others as well. So, this channel is for all of us to have a safe space where we can talk about all the chronic conditions that we're living with openly, without fear of being judged, without fear of being discriminated against. There is no question that is deemed stupid. Everything that we're going to be talking about is for my healing and your healing. So, let's dive in. I think today I want us to talk about the background to my obesity, which is one of the conditions that I'm living with. I am classified as a class 3 obese person. My BMI is above 30. The obesity started to be prominent after I started my ARVs. What then caused this obesity? Those who know me or those who have seen me in the late 90s or when I was growing up can attest to the fact that I grew up, I was not skinny, but I was slender, I was slim. Then I was diagnosed with HIV in 1998, 1999, 2000. And everything was fine. I started, seeing some changes, but they were not as pronounced during those years. I was still, okay. I was not obese. I was not overweight. I was within my normal weight range, especially for my height. And I was in my very early 20s at that time. So the body changes were expected. I then started my ARVs on the 20th of January 2007. I'll say I started being big around 2007, 2008. And a part of it was not necessarily due to treatment, but also due to my mentality at the time. I've always had this thing of wanting to show people, wanting to prove to people that HIV is not going to kill me. And one of the things that I wanted to prove this by was to become, big. Because everyone at that time, or during those years, if you were told or you were known to be HIV positive, most of the people would be skinny. So HIV was not associated with being big. It was associated with being skinny. And I wanted to prove everyone wrong. And this I did to the expense of my life. So yeah, I started becoming obese. At first it was, manageable. But unfortunately, I then had, because with obesity comes hypertension. So I was hypertensive. I was diagnosed with hypertension around 2011. And in hindsight, I want to believe that was the beginning of the hypertension was basically, the body trying to respond to whatever was going on with it. One of the side effects of the pills that I was taking, which is the efavirenz, was hyperthyroidism, which is a thyroid gland that is overactive. So a thyroid gland that is overactive will sometimes cause palpitations, cause In fact, any malbalance in the thyroid gland, whether it's overactive or underactive, it will cause heart challenges, it will cause hypertension and. So, in hindsight, I think that the hypertension diagnosis was linked to the thyroid problem that I was having. And at first, doctors thought I was having hypothyroidism, which means the thyroid gland was underactive. And when we now investigate, we realize that that was the start of hyperthyroidism, which is an overactive thyroid gland. And unfortunately, during that time, I was given medication to assist the thyroid gland to become active or to work. So what this means is, whilst I was taking this treatment that is making, or whose side effect is making the thyroid gland to be overactive, I then also overstimulated the thyroid with thyroid replacement therapy. What that did was to contribute to my thyroid gland developing into something called Graves' disease, which means the thyroid gland was now like a stone, it was hardened like a stone. I lost a lot of weight during that time. This was now in 2015. I lost a lot of weight during that time. And I had a lot of heart challenges during that time as well. And I also happened to have sleep apnea, meaning I would stop breathing a couple of times, whilst I was sleeping. But when I lost the weight, the sleep apnea sort of went away. So they had to now remove the thyroid gland. When they removed the thyroid gland, what that meant was I would now need to be on thyroid replacement therapy for the rest of my life. Also, it meant that I would struggle with weight management and weight loss, which was the case for a very long time. And remember, with medication, it's mostly trial and error, especially because we are all different. What works with one person might not work with the next person. So every person, they need to have their own management plan. And the management plan must look at all the conditions that the person is having. So here I was with hypertension and having been diagnosed with cardiac failure at some stage. Having been diagnosed with depression, and I took some treatment for depression as well. And I was on thyroid replacement therapy. So we needed to come up with, and I was also on airways. So we needed to come up with a treatment plan that is going to be suitable for me, for my conditions, and that is not going to put a lot of strain on my body. So what then happened is, over the years, there was a challenge with the efficacy or effectiveness of the treatment. I kept on ballooning. I also added to it by not taking care of myself, by not eating healthy, by eating junk, your sugar, carbohydrates, you name it, and not exercising. I ballooned so much that at some stage my weight was 182 kilograms, which meant that now the visceral fat, the visceral fat that is fat around my stomach, was at a very high rate. What does that mean as well? It means increased chances of insulin resistance, which might lead to diabetes. Increased chances of cardiac failure, and an increase in hypertension and sleep apnea. And through to form, before I started walking, I had again another diagnosis of severe obstructive sleep apnea. meaning I would stop breathing more than 20 times, more than 25 times actually, in an hour whilst I'm sleeping. This adds to now me being obese, because if you don't get enough sleep, you automatically, your body cannot operate functionally, and therefore, you become big, you become obese. And that also puts a strain on the heart. It also puts a strain, or even on your kidneys if you're not sleeping well. It puts strain on everything, on every organ of your body. So there was a time where I went to the clinic to check, and I was told that I was pre-diabetic. And of all the chronic conditions, diabetes and seizures are the two I fear the most. So when they told me that I was pre-diabetic, I said to myself, I cannot have so many chronic conditions that will need me to take treatment. I need to do something. So, on the 8th of January, it started before the 8th of January, actually. We started talking about, healthy diet, healthy eating, exercising as a family. And, we would start and stop with the healthy eating. Then on the 8th of January, something said to me, I need to start. And we started walking. I remember, there's something important that I left out regarding the 8th of January. So I needed something catchy that was gonna I was gonna use, as a sort of a campaign for myself. And I came up with the word hippopostomach, or I remembered the word hippopostomach, which was an insult that was given to me by someone, I think around 2020, 2021, during the time, COVID. And this person was insulting me because he was saying I have a big stomach, and so I took a decision even then that I'm going to keep this name and I'll use it positively. So come the 8th of January, I then said, walk with the hippo. This was now my campaign that I started. Hashtag walk with the hippo. And I explained what the hippo is. It's the hippopostomach, not hippopotamus, but hippopostomach, meaning the big stomach. So that campaign gained a lot of ground within my social media friends. Everyone now started talking about it. The hippo, walk with the hippo, and all. And when I started, I weighed 182 kilograms. And I've seen drastic drop in my weight over the months. The last time I checked, I weighed 171 kilograms. I'm not only dropping in terms of the kilograms, but I am also dropping in terms of centimeters. And this has been my focus, the centimeters, more than the kilograms. I remember I posted about a shirt that I bought from one of the shops, online shops. I bought it it arrived in December, on the 27th of December, I think. It didn't fit me well. I think last Sunday, or 2 Sundays back, I can't remember, I wore that shirt. And the shirt fits me perfectly. I can now sit comfortably whilst wearing the shirt without worrying that a button is going to pop and injure the next person. So I've seen a drastic drop in terms of the centimeters. I've seen a drastic drop even in terms of the fullness of my face. I've actually seen that my skin also, the skin glow is different, but also my energy levels, they are a bit high. I can now also go for the whole day without eating. If I've eaten in the morning, sometimes I forget to eat, up until the late afternoon or evening. Sometimes I can go without eating, like eating breakfast, and then I'll eat around 12, 11, 12. I'm no longer dependent on food. I take food when I want to take food or when I feel like taking food. I don't eat because I see food or I know there's food in the house. I won't lie. I've struggled with sweets, chocolates, and carbs, especially your bread and pasta, because these are things that I love. I've struggled with stopping them, but because my family is also supportive, we've limited, our intake of some of these things. Much better can be done, but it's a step-by-step process, so that it doesn't come as a drastic thing. It comes and we are able to sustain it. So yeah, that has been my background with obesity. So obesity has led to me having hypertension, which is one of the chronic conditions that I'm living with. Obesity has led to me having congestive cardiac failure. Obesity has led to me having excessive sleep apnea. And obesity is a direct result of hypothyroidism, meaning a thyroid gland that is not working. And the thyroid gland that is not working is a result of one ARV that I was taking, which was efavirenz, whose side effect, one of the side effects, major side effects, was hyperthyroidism, which means an overactive thyroid. So all these chronic conditions that I have, the source of them is HIV, because if I were not HIV positive, I wouldn't have taken ARVs. If I didn't take ARVs, I probably wouldn't have had hyperthyroidism. If I didn't have hyperthyroidism, I wouldn't have had my thyroid removed, and thus going to be hypothyroidism. And without hypothyroidism, I probably wouldn't have had cardiac failure, sleep apnea. I'm not sure, because everyone now seems to be on hypertensive medication. I could have had it, but I know that bulk of my conditions are all linked. And for me to manage them, I've had to change my mindset and get to a point where I'm saying I'm taking care of my health by exercising. So Walk with the Hippo, hashtag Walk with the Hippo, was about exercise. And it is about walking every day. I have not been consistent with the walking, but at least on those days that we do walk, we walk 5 kilometers every morning. We walk 5 kilometers in the morning, and sometimes we go to gym. And we are trying, to eat healthy. The aim is to reduce whatever that we can reduce. And the aim is to make sure that I am healthy. So yeah, today I wanted us to get a background of this obesity. I will share maybe in one of the episodes my journey now from the 8th of January up until today, or up until now, regarding what have been the ups and downs, of exercising. I just wanted to give a background so that when we go forward, we have a better understanding of where we come from. I am sharing my personal stories not because there's anything special about them or about me, but I'm doing so because I want us to talk. I would love to engage with as many of you as possible. Whether you're living with a chronic condition, whether it's your partner or your family members who's living with a chronic condition, or you just want information, you just want to know, let's engage. You can call, you can drop a comment, you can even suggest topics that you would like us to discuss. If I'm not vested or knowledgeable of that topic, we can see, we might invite somebody who will be knowledgeable. But at the end of the day, we are going to use this platform to demystify some of the chronic conditions that we're living with, but also to inform and educate each other. So as I said, you can comment, you can message me so that we can talk, we can engage. We can share ways of getting ahead or of managing these chronic conditions so that we are able to live productive lives. For those of you who have been following the channel, thank you so much for sticking around. For those of you who are new to the channel, we welcome you. And please do not forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and share this channel within your networks. We don't want you to miss out on any of our new videos. We will be sharing our videos every week, as we promised. So we'll see you on the next video next week. I'm not sure what we'll be talking about, but you will definitely be educated. You will definitely be informed. Thank you so much. See you on the next video. This is your host signing out. Goodbye.